Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Shantanu Vyas and this is my sports channel called Sports Angle. Really humbled by the support which I received for the first video which I made on the Euros. So happy to read good messages on Twitter, Facebook, even on WhatsApp. So thankful to all the people who shared the video across all platforms. Now, as promised in the previous video, I was supposed to make a video on the squads of the favorite teams of this tournament. So without wasting time, let's cut to the chase. So guys, yes, I did mention the favorite teams. Now the favorite teams is not like it's my favorite team, oh it's my favorite team. The favorite teams are the teams which are highly likely to win this tournament based on their squads and their performances in the qualifiers of the Euros. So the favorites I will be covering in this video are Italy, England, France, Belgium, Germany, Spain, Netherlands, and Portugal. These are the 8 teams which I feel are highly likely to win this tournament, and they're gonna put up a royal show in the next 1 month. So, without again wasting much time, let's look at the Italian squad. Now, this is how Italy will line up in a 4-3-3 formation, very traditional. And they have one of the best defensive pairings in Chiellini and Bonucci. Jose Mourinho has even quoted that these two are the Harvard professors of defending. Now, Italy is a team you don't sleep on. They have scored 37 goals in the qualifiers and conceded only 4. Now, this is my main reason why I make them into this favorite list. They have a solid defensive midfielder in Jorginho. Barella will help him with the attacking output in the midfield, and you have Ciro Immobile, who is fantastic and clinical, and Insigne, who will help him with the attacking output. Berardi is more of a counter-attacker in that setup. So this is how Italy should line up in a 4-3-3 traditional, again as I repeat. So that's the Italian squad based on what I've watched in the qualifiers and what I think of them as a side together. Really resurgent in under Roberto Mancini, but the next team is the one everyone likes to have an opinion on, and that's none other than England. And yes, it's coming home. England will line up in an unorthodox 3-4-3 formation, very different from that of what we saw before of Italy. They have 2 fullbacks in their defensive 3 in Shaw and Walker that will allow them more mobility going up front. Mason Mount has good creative output. He's assisted in the Champions League finals, so he's a player to watch out for. Chilwell and Trippier will help, the strikers in the box, which are Rashford and Kane. Rashford is blistering quick. Kane is very clinical, and Grealish will probably also help with the attacking output with Mount, so combining with Mount. And this is how England will line up in a 3-4-3. So yeah, that's predominantly what I think the England playing 11 is going to be, based on whatever I saw in the last 2 matches and whatever I could, gather my thoughts upon. And this was probably the most difficult 11 to predict because they have not played a full strength squad, and that's kind of good because it kind of keeps you as a mystery. But it has its repercussions as well. It will not provide England with that smooth rhythm and that transition going into the tournament. But I do believe it's a fair advantage to England. But now we have to talk about the big boys, the favorites, the French, the world champions, France. So this is France in a 4-3-3 formation. Nothing much has changed from the 2018 World Cup, so that's very good. Except for 2 players, Kimpembe comes instead of Umtiti, and Tolisso comes instead of Blaise Matuidi. And obviously, yes, the most notable change is Benzema. Now, Benzema is going to provide more experience to this attack, clinicality, that winning mentality and everything. Pogba is going to be the creative engine of this team. Varane is going to be the defensive solid rock. And you have the good fullbacks, slightly defensive, but I do believe that this is how France will go ahead into the tournament. And this is just one of their 11s. Trust me, we can have another 11 of France, and that also has a good chance of winning the Euros. So the quality and depth is here. So that's going to be France, the most complete playing 11 in the Euros. They don't need to look anywhere else. They have every department covered, from the defense to the midfield to the attack. They have champion players who have won all over the globe,
and now it's time they deliver the goods. However, I feel there is one team which can stop them, is England. Apart from England, the only team stopping them is Belgium. Belgium is blessed with a lot of talent, but that kind of weighs them down into big tournaments. But this time, given that their footballers have gone out there and exploded onto the scene for their respective clubs, they can use that experience coming into this tournament. And can they win? Can they do it? You need to check out their lineup for that.
Mighty Belgium will go to 3-4-3. They played this for the majority of the 2018 World Cup. They like their fullbacks in Shadley and Cassanier, who are going to be giving them that width, and so that most of their attackers are in the box. Yes, I've made this lineup without Kevin De Bruyne, and you also have a very, very experienced defense in Vertonghen and Alderweireld, another good defensive duo. Courtois is a good goalkeeper, very communicative with the back three, and Tillemans is a player to watch out for out here. He's one of the best talents emerging out of Belgium at the moment. And yes, up front you have Lukaku, Serie A top scorer, clinical striker, and yes, he can be a threat against any team. And then you have the mighty Eden Hazard, who on his day is a proven match winner.
That's largely Belgium. That's how they will line up without their key player Kevin De Bruyne, who's the key playmaker. Now, I don't know whether he will be back in the tournament at what stage. But yes, we've spoken about Belgium. Now we need to speak about Germany. They are a powerhouse of football, a perfect team that plays together. And yes, let's have a look at their playing 11. And I do believe they will be favorites. Yes.
So Germany are in a 3-4-3, very different setup from what they were in 2018. They have a good experienced defense with Rudiger, who's a Champions League winner, Hummels, who has, had great seasons with Borussia Dortmund and Bayern, so he brings that kind of diversified experience. Ginter comes from Borussia Mönchengladbach, so he also has that diversified experience. So this is a solid back three. Kroos is the anchor of this midfield. Gundogan can score. He can be a box to box. Kimmich is a young, exciting player, yes, but I don't classify him as young as per se. He is an experienced player. Havertz is a talent to watch out for. So is Gnabry. They both have really, really exhilarating pace. And Muller can be clinical on his given day and can win you matches. Gosens is, he's going to add that dimension of attack on the left and is going to assist Gnabry going ahead.
Really delighted to see Muller and Hummels back into that squad. Good blend of youth and experience on that front for Germany. They're in a group of death, so they kind of needed those players back. Now, will they deliver? Will they not deliver? Is something we'll find out. But again, we need to speak about another world champion, Spain.
Spain sticking with their 4-3-3 formation, a young defensive duo of Laporte and Torres. Laporte has recently changed his national preferences from France to Spain, and him and Torres will be an exciting duo to watch. They will be quick, yes, but will they have the experience? And Ramos will definitely be missed in this centre-back pairing. Alaba and Azpilicueta, very good fullbacks. They have the attacking mentality, they have the experience as well, and the winning mentality which these boys need at the moment. Koke will be the physical defensive midfielder. Rodri will be more like a deep line playmaker, also a defensive midfielder, and Thiago will be, with the attacking output. And this team really has to combine up front with the likes of Sarabia, Morata, and Torres to combine and get as many goals as possible. Very interesting to see how this team will do when a team will park the bus against them. Now, that in footballing terms means when the team goes fully defensive. So I'm really excited to see Spain play.
So yeah, that's Spain for you. A good team, but this year they're going to be missing the experience of Ramos. However, they've got slightly unlucky with COVID. One of their key players, Sergio Busquets, has contracted COVID along with another junior player. A few of them are also in quarantine. So I don't know how they will line up, but this lineup I have predicted on the basis of what I've seen in the qualifiers and what I think are their best players on that field for that particular moment. The next team is making a comeback, and those are the Netherlands. They are a powerhouse of talent and good football and just good vibes. The fans are an absolute gem to have in this tournament. So here you can have a look at the Netherlands squad.
Yes, the Netherlands are back and they have an experienced back three in De Vrij and Blind, who are seasoned defenders now. And ahead of that, they have Wijnaldum and Martin de Roon. Wijnaldum is a prolific scorer as a midfielder. You don't hear that a lot, but he is very clinical inside the opposition's box. De Jong is going to be their creative output midfielder. He's going to do very well. Van Aanholt and Dumfries are going to be their wing backs. And up front, they'll be led by Depay and Weghorst. Depay is the player to watch in this team, and so is Frankie de Jong. And I only feel that this team, if it plays together, it can cause serious damage. And they have nothing to lose coming into this tournament. Most teams have, again, slept on them. Most fans have slept on them. And I do feel that this is a team to watch out for.
Yes, that will be Netherlands, a relatively younger squad than what we are used to seeing. You know, we're used to seeing world-class players like Snyder, Robin. You won't see them this time. Memphis Depay will be leading their attack, which is an exciting thing to see. Some say he's on his way to Barcelona, some say he's on his way to PSG. I think that we'll find out as the summer progresses. But the next team is someone special playing for them, and that is Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal. But you know what? This time I've noticed that it's not entirely Ronaldo's. There are some key players. There are some good players. You need to check out the next part to know why.
So yeah, this is Portugal. I do believe they will go into this tournament with a 4-3-3 formation. It's more defensive with two defensive midfielders in Carvalho and Neves. They have a solid defense with Pepe and Diaz. Diaz coming off a wonderful season with Manchester City. He's been the PFA Player of the Year. Patricio, we have seen how well he does in the Premier League as well. Guerrero plays for Borussia Dortmund and has a good stake of understanding. Now, Bruno Fernandes needs no introduction. 27 goals, 18 assists this season, so he is going to be the main playmaker for them. Diego Jota is an exciting talent coming out of Liverpool, has scored good amount of goals. Bernardo Silva did not have much to do this season for Manchester City, and I don't need to introduce someone like a Cristiano Ronaldo to you. He is on the course of being the European top scorer. So this is how Portugal will line up.
So yes, that's Portugal. For the first time in so many years, it's not centered around Ronaldo. There are players who can take the pressure off him. Bruno Fernandes is one. Bernardo Silva is the other. Diego Jota, so he's not completely isolated. Can they defend their title? I do believe they can defend their title. They also have Ruben Diaz, who's the PFA Player of the Year. I've also said that in the audio clip. But I also believe that a young talent will emerge out of this particular squad in the form of Renato Sanchez, who did play the earlier Euros. But I think we are going to see the best of him in this edition of the Euros. Now, thank you so much for watching this video. This is slightly more detailed than the previous one, so I'm really sorry if I got slightly boring in between. But do like, share, and subscribe. And again, please give me some feedback on how I can make this video aesthetically better, technically better. Your appreciation was really overwhelming, and it's going to be my biggest motivation to keep being consistent in uploading videos. So thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe, and see you in the next video.